hello, Davey. And hello, Joe. Just put Joe.
Hello, Joe. Hey,
Hi,
Joe.
Great to see you all, folks. Keep writing us in messages. We love it when we can see where you are. Always nice to know who's listening from where. I put a comment up there before the show started from Les in Ontario saying they've got one heck of a lot of snow. So we haven't got as much as that, eh?
Good done.
Yeah. So, right then, what have you been up to this week?
It's been a great week up until today.
Up until today, what happened to you?
I'm doing our regular lateral flow tests, and I have tested positive for COVID. So I'm isolating until Saturday at the latest, I think it is.
Okay, right. So how's Fiona and Amy, baby Amy?
Fiona is fine. She is not positive. She's currently negative. Went for PCR today. So provided that she gets a clean bill of health on her PCR, then she can go into hospital. I cannot.
Right, okay.
Yeah, not ideal, but
no, it's going to make it a long week when you can't see baby when you're wanting to.
But it is, yeah. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Good. Well, all the best.
How was? Sorry, carry on.
Does this give you a small excuse to drink malt whiskey, or?
No, but I still have my sense of taste, so that's a good start.
Well, I tell you, some whiskies you would wish you didn't ever taste when you try them.
To be fair, I might grab myself a dram actually.
No.
How was your up Hellier on Tuesday?
It was non-existent. It was cancelled, this year again. But what we did do is we went and played in the Marlix. It's one of the big pubs in Lerwick, and it was a great night. It was jumping. Lots of people having great fun. So we were playing there last night. 2 nights ago we were playing there, and we were playing at a birthday party last night. So it's quite nice to see some things going back to normal a wee bit. So, but it's fine, yeah. But you always think you're getting away from it, and then things like you crop up and you found it again. It's just weird. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Huge numbers watching this show tonight. We're live on Facebook, Music from Scotland, Tartan Tunes. Can't mind what else. Scotland Online. And we're also on Tartan Tunes YouTube and Tartan Tunes Twitter. So all these two have a go at that. If you happen to get a bad reception, you can always watch these things back because when they upload, they've got far better strength. There's Peril Kennedy saying she's signing in for New York, but she was born and raised in Greenock. There's not much difference there, eh?
Ports are ports, aren't they?
Greenock. Well, and then
please excuse the coughing.
David Borthwick's got a kind of recipe that doesn't look just the best, David. He's forgot the whiskey.
Well, exactly. I was going to say that. There's probably no honey left after our whiskies on Boxing Day.
So anyway, right. So we're talking about Up Hellier. Yeah, it was cancelled this year. All the Up Helliers up here. We've upset Peril, and she says, "I love Greenock."
Oh, there's nothing wrong with Greenock.
No, I wasn't saying that either. I was just comparing it to New York. It's a bit different. How do you say that?
Rocker by Baby is.
Aye.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Fair enough.
Fantastic. Well, what I did through the week, because Up Hellier was off, I sat in the wee studio I have here at Haven and recorded the Up Hellier songs. And this is the two songs that the squad's march about singing. The Up Hellier song and the Galley song. The Galley song's the one when we burn the big galley. That's the song they sing around the galley when it's on fire. That's when you hope that you've got everybody out the galley.
So it's like a Viking burial without the Vikings.
Yeah, but they tend to take all the kids and all that and tow them around so you kind of to look under benches in the galley and things.
Under blankets.
There's nobody's dog jumped in or anything like that. There's Derek Owen. Hi, Derek. How you doing, man? Good to see you. So this is the two Up Hell songs. So I stuck the video on earlier. So can you hit play on that one?
Oh, shit, that's my job, is it? Yeah, okay. I know I'm here for something. Here we go. Enjoy.
Cool.
There's a picture of a sheep there. Just the end.
Wasn't that sheep? That was me.
Sure.
Took a lot of growing that beard. There's a lot. There was a lot of things lived in it for about a year. Wasn't it good? You should never eat vegetable soup with a beard like that.
Good soup.
There's lots of people from France joining in here tonight. Splashing.
Yeah, bonjour. Bonjour. Bonne nuit.
Bonjour. Ça va? Bon bien. We've got two absolutely fantastic guests for you tonight. In the first half of the show, we've got Scott Garden, piper, whistle player.
Not to be confused with the Scott Garden we had on previously.
Yeah, the Bothy Ballad singer.
Mm.
Yeah, because when you said we've got Scott Garden coming on, I thought, well, wait a minute, we've had them on.
Wait till later. Wait till later in the year. It's going to be even more confusing.
Exactly, yeah. That's the yes, the Connor twins, yeah.
Yes,
very
twins.
Good. So and then so we've got Scott, and then the second half of the show, originally from Thurso, now living in Aberdeen, we've got Karen Stephen, the fiddle player.
Yep.
Really looking forward to that as well. Karen does a lot of composing and stuff as well, and we're going to have nice chats. So over to you, Davey. Let's introduce our first guest. Say nice things about our mind.
Do I have to?
Hi, it's part of the job.
Hailing from the west coast of Scotland in Ayrshire, or in one of the, three towns, not three towns, Arbroath and Saltcoats. 3 towns? Yeah, near the 3 towns. We have Mr. Scott Garden from Irvine.
Fantastic.
Hello, Scott.
How you doing?
I'm doing grand.
Yourself?
Yeah, all right. Doing there. Getting on.
Saltcoats, Stevenson, Dawson. Yeah, keep on forgetting Saltcoats, Stevenson. How's things?
Yeah.
Certainly.
All right, yeah. You?
Yes, apart from the whole COVID thing.
August.
Yeah, it's not a great day. So, Scott, tell us a bit about you and how you started off in the piping.
I've got a really foggy memory, but this is what I've been told. I heard a piper in Beath, and I was staying on with my granny and grandpa's, and I went up to him apparently, or they went up to him, and it was a guy called Neil McTaggart, who lived locally at the time. So I wanted to learn pipes, and then for Christmas I got one of these kind of, I'll call it a shortbread tin Royal Mail, kind of practice chanter kind of thing. So I went to his house with that. He seen it, just went, aye, yeah, go to McCallum's, go and get a proper again. So I received lessons from him, and then I went on to the Urban District Pipe Band, which was just because it was closer, I think. And they got taught mainly from John Easdale, but then Josh McKean had a big hand with me, kind of towards the end of my kind of getting taught how to play with the band. Always say with George that he kind of made me. John's responsible for my fingers, and George is responsible for my mentality. Because he sat me down as a wee boy, blatantly not practicing, and I can't remember what he said to me, but whatever he said, I wasn't happy. Basically just went, practice or just don't come back.
I got a similar sort of thing from my tutor, which should have been 9, and then he actually dropped me as a pupil.
Right?
Yes, I'll tell you who it is afterwards. But yes, was that
for the third floor of that block of flats? That's what's happened to you.
Sorry, excuse the cough.
But what was I going to say? Very quickly, I'm just sorry to interrupt, but there's a lot of folks speaking about the weather here tonight for some reason, and it feels kind of strange because they're saying it's blowing a hoolie in Scotland, and I'm up here in Shetland. It's quite calm just now, so I don't know what's coming.
There's a weather warning over here.
Yeah, we had a bad one last night. It was quite a rough night, but it's not too bad tonight. Actually.
Do you know what you should do? Contact our last week's guests and ask them.
I've been in touch with Joy a couple of times this week since last week and saying, hey, what is this nonsense? Saying it's going to be snowing and windy and all that. And it's no, it's can't really do much about it.
Yeah.
So once you managed to get onto the pipes themselves, so it was Urban and District you started off with as playing in the band?
I was with Scott Figgins. Me and him, he was kind of one of the few people that could kind of tolerate me or my kind of nonsense. So we both grew up together and we kind of stayed with the band for years. I was, I think, 18 or 19 when we finally left. And I started when I was maybe 9, so almost 10 years with them. And when I left, Carl Lees was the pipe major, and that was when the band was kind of winning stuff with championship level at Grade 4B. So we then decided to go to Glasgow Sky and spent a few years there. And that was just with Ewan Henderson, just as he took over. It's always weird. I got a Glasgow Sky, an old Glasgow Sky back cover because when I was going to join, I was like, right, I was at uni, right, for my actual place, I went a sheepskin bag, an old Glasgow Sky, to play some kind of began away in the synthetics thing, so I went mowing pipes to keep them separate. So we then got this set of pipes, spoke to Kenny, came with the bag cover, I just went, right, cool, right, so this will stay the band pipe and this will stay a solo pipe. Ewan came in and moved the band onto, I'd bought my sheepskin bag for my solo pipes. Ewan came in and went, Ken, what? We're just going to make the full band sheepskin. So I had 2 pipes with two sheepskin bags. That's why I'm bald. Trying to keep the 2 of them going.
Yeah.
What years was it you were playing with Sky then? Glasgow Sky?
2015, 2016, around about that era. Or maybe before.
Was Colin Williams playing at that point in time?
Yeah, he kind of joined around at the same time. Yeah,
right.
I think he's got 2.
I used to play with Colin in Colburn pipe band.
Oh yeah, because is his dad the pipe major or something like that, isn't he?
Yeah, his dad was pipey for a long time, and then Colin took over the band and got them up. One 3A, but the 2 wee bands were at one point. But yeah, it was many years ago. I always mind Colburn being like really tough competition because I think they were in 4 the same time as Irvine, and they were tough. Like you just knew they were going to win. But because Colin was next to me in the circle. The last season I done with him, Colin was in the band, and so was Chris Armstrong.
Oh, right.
Chris did a season with.
In case you don't know, Scott, Chris Armstrong was a piper, and you might not have heard of him, but he was on the show a few months back.
Yeah.
But no, so you obviously went to the conservatoire, and that's where you kind of went to the Sky and stuck with them.
Yeah.
So from the conservatoire, actually, what we're going to do, we're going to put a video on. We're going to.
I think so. Yeah, let's have a set of tunes.
We'll set of tunes. We're going to do your 3/4 marches. Do you want to tell us a bit about these?
Yeah, so it's just a set of 3/3/4s. First one's called Jim McEwen. I'm actually terrible at naming tunes. That's why they're usually named after people, because I don't lead a very interesting life. There's the odd occasion something miraculous happens, which I'll tell you about. Like, there's a story with Prince Charles. That is, I mean, I'm not going to get a gig again after him after what happened, actually. I can tell it now. It's really doing any more damage.
We'll get it after the show. We'll get it after the video. That'd be great.
Yeah. So the first one's called Jim McEwen, who's he's a piper in Irvine pipe band who helped me. I ended up kind of taking no well when I was at uni, to the point that I kind of stopped playing for a bit. But I didn't want to take my pipes out, so he just went, right, pipes out, we'll take over to Ravens Park, and he made me play. So that's for him. The second one's called Kurt Mcintosh, who was the pipe sergeant at Glasgow Sky while I was there.
Kurt was in Colburn at the same time as well.
Yeah.
Kurt was in there.
I'd call him to one side and Kurt to the other.
Right, and then I was out playing at a wedding in Portugal. I was out piping about 2 years ago, just for this wedding in the north of Portugal. The folk booked us to go out and play the accordion and all that. And this lass walked up when she was a guest at the wedding, and it was Kurt's sister.
All right.
So it's a bit,
small world.
There we go. That's interesting times.
And the last one's farewell to Bill Grant, which was named by the pipe major at D-side, Robert Grant. Bill was a member of Buchan, and I met him when I was at one of these Germany Scottish Music Parade tours.
Yeah.
So that was for him.
Aye.
Just want to say a quick hello to, can I put this comment up? Gita in Trinidad. I don't think we've had anybody on for Trinidad before that we know of.
That's
so hello, Gita. That's a first. Brilliant.
So let's have these 3/4s and we'll continue our chat afterwards.
Yep. Thanks.
Nice tunes. Nice tunes.
Hey, cheers.
On the back of that, the fact. Go on, Peter. Hurry up.
I'm a big fan of 3/4s, of course. I really like 3/4s.
Same. I like 3/4s and 6/8s. Quite stereotypical, despite all the fun stuff.
Yeah, the problem with playing them, and I love playing them in the accordion, but usually when you're playing the accordion, it's for folk dancing, and of course they don't fit for gig orders or nothing at all. It's just somebody needs to devise a dance that 3/4s fit for.
Some kind of waltz or something.
So.
So kind of talking about compositions, when did you start composing?
I dabbled when I was doing my HNC at Ayr College, but that was just for a unit only, because they'd be able to the computers and I had nothing at home. But then when I was at uni, it must have either my first time through second year or my second time through it, where I just started regurgitating one thing after another, like constantly, just being late for classes as well, because I was in the library doing something like that.
Yeah.
I found it quite therapeutic, like really therapeutic, just writing stuff, like just keeping yourself busy. And I can proudly say that I've hit the 300 mark today.
Fantastic.
That's a great catalogue.
Yeah, I don't know any of them. I need to start learning them.
I'm the same. I'm like, yep, I'm loads of tunes.
Oh, I ken that one.
Go play one. Yeah, no.
I know.
Sorry.
I find the worst thing with the composing, and I do a lot, of course, as well with the accordion stuff. It's when you're sitting at a dance playing and somebody comes up and says, "Good, play that tune that you wrote for." You're sitting there. Yeah. I usually say the rest of the band don't know it, so I'm sorry we can't do it. Just blame them.
I've started doing, like, I've saved it to OneDrive, so I've got like a PDF of all my tunes on a Google Drive at all times. So if somebody asks me, "Oh, can you play that?" I went, "Wait a minute." Right, okay.
No.
Give me a week and I'll learn it.
So, like I said, you went to the conservatoire and you did pipes and whistle, didn't you, as well as your secondary instrument?
Yeah, because I entered when it was still a BA and you had to have a second instrument at the time. Like playing the whistle anyway. And got taught by Mark Duff. Like finally properly getting taught how to play a whistle, which is great for a piper because usually pipers just pick it up and it's like the Irish kind of Guinness book guys that you get out of like music shops that you have to like tell my mum, stuff like that with wee finger charts. So I get taught to play the whistle properly was great. Like and plus as well, the boy the year above me, Ali Levac, was at it. Like you heard him practicing and you just went, "Oh, I want to do that." I can't do it, but I want to do it.
No, I was lucky enough, a good number of years ago now, we were playing at the Glenfarg Folk Club, me and my band, and it was one of these nights where it was 3 random acts, one after the other. It's kind of a showcase night. So we were on before Mark Duff, who went on his own, did his own bit, and it was it was bizarre. It's like, didn't you play Malinky? Yeah, I did. Yeah. So what the hell are you doing here?
Like
that was really getting back into it.
He's a really interesting wee dude because he's got like a masters, I think, of like baroque recording or baroque record playing, stuff like that. Yeah. And you should like lift weights with his diaphragm and stuff like that. I think
it's pretty mental.
Yeah.
That's Derek speaking to Davey. What was I say to you? So at the moment you've got a book out called Duality.
Yeah.
And that came out in 2018.
That's one, 2018.
I had to think about that there. And you were supposed to release the second one, was it last year's Pipe and Live?
Something like that. I've been sitting on it for ages. I've managed to get a price from the printers, but something I've had to like put it off again because I'm having to like build something in the back door just to teach people because I don't. Yeah. Folk are going to come into the house, but I'd rather they didn't. So it's just a space to teach folk and record and practice myself to my heart's content. Like like play stuff my mum and dad don't like, kind of thing. But I've been sitting on it that much that the Duality 3's finished. I might actually do 2 and 3 at the same time now.
Yeah.
Just get it priced up and see what the damage is going to be.
What I will recommend if you're doing that is try and make book 2 and 3 exactly the same size page number wise.
Yeah, aye.
Because what they'll do there, they'll put it onto one sheet and trim it rather than having to do it as different things. So it should save a bit of cash as well. That's what we did with Ali Levac's books like that. That's why it's exactly the same pages, number of pages,
okay.
stuff.
Yeah,
that's why we did it that way.
Cool.
Let's have another track. We've got the medley.
Yeah.
Tell us the tune. Can you remember the tunes in the medley?
I think it's starting with a 9/8 jig, Constellations by Ali Hutton, and then into a jig I've been playing for too long. No, not too long. Since
too long.
Duncan CD came out, just for Seamus came out. The Last Tango in Harris by Rodney Mcdonald, and then into Armstrongs by Rodney Mcdonald, Glenn Lyon, Peter Martin's, which I wrote myself, and finishing up again with Loop and Drive by Ali Hutton.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
superb. So very controlled, Mister. Brilliant.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so easy to let something like that run away, isn't it? But doesn't it? You're holding it right there.
Well, cheers, thanks.
Good stuff.
I'll go say something.
I was quickly going to ask, because I asked this before we went on air, but you had something to do with Air Pipe Band Society as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I joined Air after the 2018 season. I knew a guy called Jim Jameson, who I was playing with at Sky, took over the band just after the 2019 season. So
Right.
this is great. But unfortunately, he kind of stood down at the last AGM. I think it was maybe October, just there. And I was kind of no well at the same time, and I was like working until like teaching until like 7 o'clock at night, and I was like racing up there trying to get trained to Air, and just went, this isn't working. So I went. My mate, Wayne McLaughlin, who used to play for Fire and Rescue, took over Irvine just in the middle of summer. And we, like during COVID or during when we were in each other's bubble basically. And we used to like talk, or if we ever went back to Irvine, what would we do? He went back to Irvine. He got the pipe majorship. So I just went right. When I left there, he asked me to try to come to Irvine and just do everything we ever spoke about. So yes, an exciting new project. It's definitely not the band it was. It's great.
What grade is it? What grade is Irvine in now then?
It's currently in 4A.
4A. Right, okay.
It got an upgrade, I think, shortly after myself and Scott Figgins left originally.
Right.
So it's introducing a lot of change.
But you know something, see the standard in the grades over the years since I was competing 35 years ago, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
your 4A bands and things like that are blowing superb tones and everything now, you know, it's just...
Yeah, I think we were talking about it, like, even, like, listening to, like, videos of Grade 1, like, from, like, early 2010s to now, there's a massive difference in tone.
Well, when I done a couple of seasons with Scottish Gas in Grade 1, 30 years ago or something. And honestly, I don't know, some of the Grade 3A bands and things would be right up there, right at the top of those. You know?
Yeah. The standard of piping in general has changed over the years. There's bands in the 70s in Grade 1 that wouldn't get a look at Grade 3 nowadays.
Yeah. Like, I think piping did go through another golden age. Like, not that long. I think it's probably still going through it. So, just keep improving.
It's amazing though how the standard has changed. Like, it's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, somebody had posted the clip in 1974 Dysart and Dundonald the other day, and it was brilliant to hear it. And they were good players. I mean, they were all good players. But the medley finished with Collins Cattle, the 3-4 marks and things. I mean, that just wouldn't happen nowadays, you know.
Probably would. You'd have to like make it like thirds and fourths and seconds and huge harmonies and really rebuild it almost.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Because they were there in the 5 side drummers. That's what they had. Grade 1 band, and they're all in full dress. It's quite interesting to see it, you know, competing in number 1.
Yeah, like no one uniform. I've done that. I'm starting that for the business, like playing at folks' weddings, and it's a 2-man job to get it on. And once I'm in it, I am locked in it. Can't get it up again. I need help.
No, it's something you get used to eventually. But all the
air pipe band. Why I was showing an interest when I was a wee boy, they were Grade 1. Air had a Grade 1 band at one time.
David Clark was the pipe major, I think.
That's right. And they used to wear the Wallace tartan. I remember that as well.
All right. All the pictures I've ever seen of them is at the McLean Jewett, which the band still wears.
Oh, really?
I think they wore the Wallace at one time. It's funny.
Yeah.
Shows you my misspent childhood sitting reading pipe band programs and memorising what pipe band had what tartan.
Bill Ryan's today. Like I just have for Seamus on a loop.
Yes.
I'm trying to walk before I can run.
So you obviously you still teach both privately and at the band. Is there any techniques or something like that you've learned over your time teaching that are a benefit to learners?
Yeah, like I learned this. I used to do like the piping centres at Youngstars, and there would be a kid. Usually, at every one of them I've ever been to, there's always one kid that's never picked up a pressure before, and the parents just kind of abandon them at the piping centre for every morning. So it's like instant. And also, they get dropped off on the Monday and they start, and then the Friday there's a wee showcase kind of thing. So I think John Mulhern had the wee kid once, and he was like, right, they need to show this wee kid can do something by Friday. Mm-hmm. So I went, Star Wars. You don't need grace notes for Star Wars. So I put that into my own teaching because Wayne's loves Star Wars. Star Wars is going through another wee hype thing now, so it's popular. They already know the melody. They don't need to kind of sit there and study, like, because when most of us learned it was Scots for Hay.
Yeah.
That's after months of doing grace note exercises and throwing D exercises, and so it's like more instant, not quite instant gratification, but just get them into a tune sooner.
Yeah.
To keep them interested, because there's probably a lot of kids who could have been good, just went, I'm not bothering with this, the grace note exercising them. But if you give them Star Wars and kind of give them wee melody lines after and amongst the exercises, they don't notice it as much.
Yeah, they don't notice they're learning.
Yeah. Kind of normalising towards like once we're more advanced, once they get like an MSR under their belt, normalising going straight into Pembroke, and normalising like getting taught the movements as well, or even like shakes, because when I was taught at Irvine, it was like stuff for to play at a gala day. Basically, we're taught for, and we figured out shakes, Idris, Verides by myself. So I don't want kids doing that, because a private instructor needs to then come in and tidy it up. That's what happened with like myself. Like we got tidied up started with Gordon Bruce at his school, and then it was George Sharp in the school, and then Tommy Turner, who we got privately, to really teach us how to do the solos, seeing how to play this stuff properly. Yeah. So kind of normalising that.
But no, I agree that that sometimes the best thing to do is to build that foundation, and they get that automatic. Once you start on that tune of that level, you feel good about it. You feel like you've actually got somewhere in a week in this case, because if you're starting from nothing and just doing grace notes for a week, you probably won't last. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we're going to hear you play your hornpipe and jig next.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
So, I think the first tune is Bruce Gandy's Dusty Chanter by Michael Gray, who wrote the foreword. Well, Michael Gray wrote the foreword for Duality 1. And then into William and Yara's engagement. William's the pipe major of Irvine, and he got engaged. I think the ceremony was like a few weeks ago in Dubai. And he likes his big, fancy, cheesy hornpipes. He loves them, so I brought him something that he won't be able to play. He's looking at the music and he says it'll take him a month to get the last part. And then Dollar McLean's, and he finished with the Foot Tapper by Stuart Sampson.
Yeah, cracking tune. Let's have a listen.
Thanks.
Fantastic one. That's
That's
the
the
fourth part.
I'm the headset, by the way.
Fourth part. The fourth
sorry.
part didn't sound that bad.
I'll give you the music.
See, trying to play that one in the accordion, I think you just have to trap the accordion at that point or something.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix style.
And sorry about the headset, by the way. When you're recording online, you can see somebody approaching the door to come in. Just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not done yet.
It's usually my
put the kettle
children.
Yeah, I know.
So I know for a fact you're involved in another project at the moment, as I am as well, the same project. You're involved with pipebandscores.com.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit about what you are bringing to pipebandscores.com?
Currently, what I've got listed in my marketplace kind of area is a few of my own tunes, and a bit of my harmonies as well, like the stuff that's obviously not copyrighted. Any harmonies I've written, like the Higra, Hogra, Gaelic Air that we played at Glasgow Sky, about the harmonies that get out for that, and also kind of sea shanties for some reason since that took off in 2020. That kind of took my interest because it's a big thing folk knows with me. It's like I like doing big chordy harmonies, like Castle Dangerous by Scottish Power blew my mind.
Yes,
and
of course.
I've been that way ever since. Basically thirds minimum, like seconds and thirds minimum. So I saw a few tunes, a few harmonies, and a few more tunes as well.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
And are they in addition to the duality, or are they also including duality as well, or is that the plan? Is that plan to make it duality on, put duality on as well?
That would take a while to kind of work my way through, because I think in Duality 1 there's 45 tunes and a suite.
Well, I'll speak to you after this.
Yeah, because I think there's a few harmony options, I think, on the pipe band score.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good thing, though, isn't it? Because there's a lot of pipe bands out there, especially further down the grades, that they don't know how to do arrangements. They don't know how to do harmony. They're just not sure. And by giving them some and them seeing how you've done it, is actually then going to hopefully help them maybe progress themselves as well, kind of thing.
I think a lot of lower grade bands, they do old fashioned third above, third below, and anything other than that is sacrilege. Whereas I think of a pipe band as like every player's like a key on a piano and can be used that way. So you can create a D chord or a G chord by using the players within the band and the melody line as well.
Yeah.
So, because harmony, you don't harmonise for harmony's sake, you harmonise for an emotional impact. Everything's for emotional impact. So,
exactly.
Third above, third below, just cut it.
The one thing I found with pipebandscores.com, I know it sounds like an advert, when it's launched, there's also going to be drum scores.
Aye.
And things like that, which is I think what's missing from a lot of the lower grade bands is drum scores that they can work with themselves. Sometimes the drummer that's in charge of a lower grade band isn't how to word this nicely, isn't the best at writing scores, so they'll play the mass band stuff and try and make it fit. With this, I believe Kirk's will be opening up to requesting scores as well.
That's the boy himself. That's the boy himself.
Hi, Kirk.
But no, so that's grand. There you go.
Is that tell me, Davey, is this the site that one of my tunes is on?
Yes.
Yes, cool.
Yes.
My accordion and Davey's put the pipe and bells
on it. Yep.
I'm jealous.
Well, you wrote it for me, so I might as well use it.
Yeah, I wrote it for you. And it was interesting you talking about Stuart Sampson earlier on as well. We had Stuart as a guest on the show, and what a great composer Stuart is as well. He's got some amazing tunes.
Yeah, like he was our kind of competition music kind of instructor for like the first 2 or 3 years, and he was always like really patient. He would always say the same thing at the end of every lesson. Good fingers, good pipes. You just done in the tunes.
It's about right, to be fair.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah.
I played 2 6/8s, made it into my repertoire after it, and with the
Yeah.
box, and we play them with the inspan now, and they're just fantastic. Really musical tunes, like the really musical structures to them.
Did I mention that you wrote a tune for me?
Oh yeah. I mean, was it the competition
play it.
2.0?
Yeah, there's
Right.
no doubt about that.
You haven't mentioned it the night sober.
No, that's fine. That's just the first time tonight. So, as we mentioned earlier, Scott, we are coming up to your last video. You also play whistle, and you also play in a band with Scott Figgins, who is a previous guest, and he was also a young trad semi-finalist.
Yeah, aye.
Yeah,
I think he's semi-finalist twice. I think
twice. Yeah, he was definitely semi-finalist this year.
Yeah.
Actually, is that next week? That's next week, isn't the finals?
I think so, because Celtic Nation's on the now, so it must be.
Yeah. So, obviously, you said you've been playing with Scott since you were in Irvine together. So, how did the step take it that obviously he mainly plays guitar rather than pipes?
Yeah, I think I've been there. It just kind of happened. Like, we just had probably a free minute at RCS and just played, or we did something at his house, or like at the Urban Pipe Band Kelly, we did something. So just kind of went from there and just kind of grew. Then we did stuff like the Pipe Degree concert and stuff like that. They just started from there, and then that was just the way it happened. We just ended up. And then
you've got an EP out, haven't you?
Horizontal, yeah, that was 2019. That was released.
Where's the best place to get that? Just jump onto the website. They'll direct you somewhere.
There's a Figgins Garden Bandcamp, which I'm going to add to my website as a separate menu tab. Because that's where the CDs are for sale. There. And it was with Scott that I did the Prince Charles thing. Actually, I just remembered I was going to tell you the story about it.
Go for it.
Scott's not forgiving me for this actually either. So we got asked by the Pine Centre to go in Dumfries' house, play a tune for Prince Charles, and just make it short and sweet and fast. So we did that. First week, went without a hitch, got paid and a bottle of Belveni each. Then went back the next week, and he must have remembered us, and was like, hand us over the bottle of Belveni again. Oh yes, I believe I've given you this before, he says. And I forgot I was talking to like the future heir, the future king. And I basically said, because at that point the Six Nations was on and Scotland just beat England.
Yeah.
I just went, oh, have you still got the bottle? Just went, no, my dad canned it after Scotland humped England in the Six Nations. The colour just went, these Scots just turned around to it.
Well, that's your MBE at the window then.
Yeah, but no filter.
And you've not done a gig there since?
No, it made its way to Roddy. Like Lady Ivy had mentioned it to the principal of the Piping Centre, and he just went, "We know."
Brilliant. Let's have a wee listen to the waltzes. So this is your waltz. You're playing whistle on this. So tell us a bit about the tunes and then about the video itself.
Yeah, so it's Brenda Stubbert's by Michael Gray again, and then Rebecca Brown's Farewell to Campbellton, I think, by Lorne McDougall. And we shot 2 videos. So I think Scott played the first one, which was like Peter Martins and Roti Eroge.
Yeah.
And it's set in Macallan Bagpipes in the factory. Shortly after, I think just like early January before they went back to work. So I had the factory to ourselves, and we Scott works in there and knows it.
Is that why it's clean?
It shouldn't be, because there was a Christmas party. I was there. So we set it at McCallum's because I had that kind of industrial kind of set, that kind of look, and that's why we're kind of the rest almost kind of, I don't want to say Peaky Blinderish, but that's the look I went for anyway.
Fair enough. Let's listen to the waltzes.
Yeah. Thanks.
Magic sounds.
Fantastic.
I seen one in the comments.
I see the Peaky Blinders bit.
Yeah, I seen one in the comments and I got the name of the tune wrong. It's Finbar Saunders.
Ah, right.
There's no Brenda. I
No,
don't know who
right.
she is.
Well, what? Yeah.
Brenda Stewart is by Jerry Holland.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah, drum didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, that one. Drum didn't. Drum didn't.
That's what it is.
I just thought you did
Right.
the waltz. I was like, okay, fine. So you've got the EP out, which is available from the website on the screen.
Yep.
If Peter makes it come back up again.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
Thanks.
And you've also got your first collection, Duality, available on your own website, which is that one there.
Yep. Cheers.
And then
Remember, folks,
two and
these are
two
all,
and-
all these shows are recorded, folks, so don't panic.
Yep.
You can always look back and get the addresses again.
exactly. And then 2 and 3 will be on there as well, eventually.
Yeah.
Anything else in the pipeline at the moment?
That's pretty much it. Just teaching away, just working.
Good.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
thanks so much. Thank you so much for coming on tonight
Thanks for having us on.
sharing your music. It's I can tell you we've had an endless stream of comments tonight. They've never stopped saying how much folks are enjoying your playing. So
Oh,
That's
good.
fantastic.
Thank you.
fantastic. But absolutely brilliant. It's really nice when it's like that, and it's good. It's getting about all over the world. And hope to catch you in real life somewhere, maybe at a
Aye, same.
contest. I'll have
Do
to
we
get
get
my
beer at
rowing
some point?
boat out.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Oh, that's
I
great,
wouldn't have liked to have been in the boat for Shetland last night. Holy moly!
Yeah,
I mean, it was good.
I'm terrible in boats. I'm going to Belfast and getting sick.
Just fly.
Oh,
Just fly. It's quick. Listen, thanks very much, man, and take care of yourself.
Okay, so all this,
Thanks for having us. Cheers. See you
Cheers,
later.
everybody.
Yeah, great fingers that chap's got, eh?
Yes, that Scott Gardner.
Great composing brain as well. Very, very nice.
He is. Yes, definitely. He's been given a good grounding, therefore he can kind of steer away from it. You know what I mean, and make it a bit different, which is fantastic.
Listen, just before we bring our next guest on, because our next guest is an awesome composer and fiddle player as well, Karen. But just before that, I had a wee message for Ross asking, could we just maybe play the advert for the Pitlochry tune competition for him again? So this is the one where you can win 500 quid, I think it is, isn't it?
Yep.
So anybody out there that wants to write a 4-part pipe march? For
No,
Pitlochry?
it's not. It's not. You're wrong.
Is it not? What is
A
it then?
4-part tune
Ah, okay.
doesn't have to march. Yeah.
Oh, did I say march, did I?
Yeah.
Then I meant
That's
to say march.
because you've written a march, a 4-part march. That's what it is.
I don't know. I haven't put
I've
anything in
written a 12/8 march for it.
With 4 parts.
The 12 parts.
12 part, 12/8.
And if I win it, I'm going to get Ross to play it.
The 12 part, 12/8. Good God, they were there for a day. Well, yeah.
Let's listen to this advert.
Right.
Please do not adjust your
Yeah.
TV sets.
It's self-explanatory.
Hello and welcome to Pitlochry. Next year in 2022, Pitlochry Highland Games will celebrate its 170th anniversary. And to help mark this occasion, we are going to run a piping composition competition. This competition will be for 4 parts of any time signature and open to any musician who can play and write pipe music.
There we go.
Okay, so I need to cut it down to 4 parts then.
Yeah, that's great though. And that tune there actually was just to point out, you don't have to be a piper to write these tunes, because that tune that Ross was playing there was one of Freeland Barber's tunes. Freeland Barber, the accordion player, and I've actually been in contact with Freeland about getting Freeland to come on the show sometime, but he'd fallen and hurt his hand, so he's getting his hand back into one place, and then he's hopefully going to come on something, because it'd be great to have Freeland a total master of the organs.
Yep.
So looking forward to that. Right, let's bring on our next guest. She's originally from Thurso, but now in Aberdeen, it's the mega talented Karen Stephen.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you all. Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you? Are you fine?
Yeah, doing good, thanks. Yeah, I really enjoyed that first half. Meeting Scott for the first time as well. Fantastic playing.
It's good fun, isn't it? This is the thing we love about this show, is just meeting so many different people, and a lot of people we know of, some people you know, and it's just great. It's great fun. And music's just a kind of multi-language that just kind of connects us all. It's just fantastic. So you're doing fine yourself, or you're not getting blown away in Aberdeen tonight?
Oh no, I love Aberdeen. 10 years this time around, yeah. Was always looking for an excuse to come back, so bought a place here now, so we're not in a hurry to get away.
Brilliant. You were brought up in Thurso though, weren't you?
Well, Ray, small village about 10 miles west of Thurso, and then the family moved to John O'Groats for a few years, and then my mum and dad retired to Thurso. So
what attracted you to the music then? Did you have a musical family, or?
Oh yeah, the house was packed full of traditional music, lots of LPs, Jimmy Shand, Paddy Newry, Addie Harper. Growing up, we just had loads. Andy Stewart as well. We were always listening to Scottish music, and the bagpipes from Highland dancing from the age of 3. So I always think that I had like a big repertoire of tunes in my head before I started to learn to play an instrument. But I think Sean Maguire was the first fiddle player from Ireland that I saw at the Accordion and Fiddle Club in Thurso in the Royal Hotel. So after that, I decided I wanted to learn to play fiddle. But up in the north, in the country primary schools, you didn't have the option to learn fiddle until high school, and it was classical violin then. So I just joined a waiting list, and 3 of us started together when we were in second year in high school. So back then, maybe a late starter. I was 13 when I started. I mean, it was good crack. Ian Sinclair from the folk band Merck was teaching me, and we had a really good time. But I was a slow learner, a really slow learner. Yeah, I worked so hard. It took me about 10 years to drum up the bravery to teach.
Well, to be honest, if you got influenced by people like Sean Maguire and things like that, it's a fair high standard you set yourself to begin with.
Oh, I was really impressed with his playing. I mean, to this day, I couldn't come near him in standard. And I think I shied away from performing and teaching because technically I wasn't an advanced player. Jennifer Wrigley, she's a bit younger than me, from Orkney. I was always admiring her from a really young age. She was playing fantastically, and I couldn't play what she was. So I thought, well, I don't deserve to be on stage. But I think I was about 24 years old when I decided, well, if I can do quite well. So I got over my anxiety and just got on with it.
And you were born in a good year. You were born the same year as me, so that's fine. I noticed on your bio we're both 69. But how come Karen looks a lot younger than me? Why is that, Davy?
Oh, younger than 69.
69.
Genetics?
Background. Brian Adams, the summer of 69.
That was me. Well, I was October of. Right.
I'm older than everyone.
Let's have a wee tune. Tell us about this. This is the Highland Dance one. We're going to play first.
Yeah, so this one, this was a commission from Tanya Horn, who runs a big Highland dance school up in Caithness, and she runs a festival every year. But with COVID in 2020, her festival had to be cancelled. So she put on an online display. So she asked me to write this tune, and it went out to all the dancers. And I think there were about 43 submitted a Highland dance-based choreography to the tune that I wrote. So here it is. I've got Alistair McDonald, who was a guest of yours back on 26th of September, I think it was.
Was
So
it
he's
really?
playing accordion, and my friend from Aberdeenshire, Anne Taylor, is on keyboard for this piece. It's a short little one, but it's it'll be danced.
Can I just say, folks out there, please keep sharing the show, and that would be wonderful. And any comments, pop them in. We want to know where you are. If there's anything you would like to ask Karen or anything like that, that would be great. Don't ask Davey and me things, because we're useless.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah. If it's bizarre, if it's some of that bizarre trivia, you usually know it, right? You know.
That's true. That's true.
How many tails of turtles got and all that. Here's Garden's Highland Dance set.
Fantastic.
Called then. Oh,
Say that again, Peter.
are you there, Karen?
Yep, I'm here.
What was that one called then?
That was the disc dancing Highland choreography reel. So disc dancing, so dancing and social distancing and online virtual performance for the Highland dancers. So 43 dancers, each individually choreographed a piece of Highland dancing to that tune. So I was really pleased to be invited. It's nice to have a challenge. You might have noticed the first part of the tune, it gets played 3 times. The first time through is the introduction for the dancers, and then they know when to start.
Yeah, cool. One thing that's noticeable in your playing, I think, and reading your bio makes complete and utter sense. You've got a Highland style going on there, but you've also got a very Cape Breton style going on there. You've got that sound, that dancey sound, I think. And
thank you very much.
You can maybe tell us that you have been very influenced, haven't you, by Cape Breton? You really like that, so.
Oh, I love it. I feel like that's where I belong, you know. But, you know, I wouldn't say I'm a Cape Breton fiddler, but it's a strong influence on my playing. But also the Donegal fiddling in Ireland, it's a single bowed style as well, so it's quite bitey. Okay. I noticed in Scott's whistle playing, he was tonguing a lot of the notes, so lots of individual distinct notes. And I quite like that effect. So I've listened to some Cape Breton fiddlers, like Rodney Mcdonald, he's one of the younger players. He's got an effect in his playing when he's playing reels. He'll do like a snap, which you would associate with the Scots space, but he puts the snap into the reel. So I always use that as a way for other fiddlers to try and get into the feel of the Cape Breton. Put a snap in your reel and immediately you feel like you want to dance. And then watching Buddy McMaster from Cape Breton and going to his classes as well over the years, that was a really strong influence. And learning about the Cape Breton step dancing as well helped.
Yeah, because you do dance as well yourself, don't you? You do.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I think I got chucked out when I was 3 years old for bad behaviour. I don't remember when I was learning Highland dancing, and I was told to come back when I was 5. I probably didn't concentrate enough. But yeah, I grew up doing Highland dancing, and yeah, it was quite a disciplined household. My mum would send us to practice about 5 times a week.
Right.
So yeah, so I've grew up listening to loads of bagpipe music because traditionally it would be pipes that was played for Highland dancing. So yeah, it's been a huge influence on my playing. I love listening to the pipes. And then I was teaching with Bobby Cogle from Wick at Thurso College for a few years, and he pointed out that I was playing my jigs wrong because I was dotting the rhythm, and I didn't realise that they were supposed to be straight. So yeah, so I've been trying to switch over, but I do love the dotted rhythm. So I try and if I write some tunes and I want to play a dotted rhythm, I call them marches. But if I straighten them out and they sound okay, then I call it a jig.
To be fair, the old piping style was a dot cut jig.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were right.
Which tune is it? Duncan the Gauger.
Okay, so that's a jig.
That's a jig, yeah.
All right, okay. Oh, well, I won't apologise for dotting my jigs in future then.
No, I don't, not at all.
Well, they play them quite straight in Cape Breton. Not that I could never be a Cape Breton fiddler. My music isn't busy enough, and I won't apologise. I've got masses of influences. I've got a bit of a sort of a hybrid style, but I do really love the Cape Breton style.
You've been over there a couple of times, haven't you?
I've been over there a few times. I went over for a month in 1997, I think it was, to interview a few fiddlers for my dissertation in university. And I just like wandered around and interviewed musicians and played a bit. But it's quite a solo tradition there. If someone starts playing, everyone listens. Whereas in Scotland, someone starts playing, everyone's excited to join in. So you had to be prepared to be put on the spot, kind of thing. If you
it's a really hard month to put in, though, wouldn't it? Wondering about Cape Breton.
Well, people were amazed that I was there on my own, and it was afterwards I read that there is quite a lot of crime there, and I was like driving around on my own in this car. But no, I really loved it. Another time I went with a friend, but the first time I went was 1986 with the Thurso High School fiddle group, Wick and Thurso High Schools, and Alistair McDonald was our accordionist in the band. I was actually a reserve for that trip, but the double bass player wasn't able to go, so I managed to bag that spot. I was still like quite elementary level at the time, and we were all playing from the sheet music. We weren't playing by ear. And then another thing, landed in Cape Breton, met the Barra McNeils, absolutely sensational band. Everyone was playing without sheet music, so it was a bit of a turning point for me when I came back from there in 1986 to try and relearn my Caithness Junior Fiddlers repertoire without the sheet music, and I just did it phrase by phrase and memorised it and built it up. Yeah.
Let's have another wee tune here. We've got the break this time. It's a tune of yours. So tell us a wee bit about the break.
So the break is in Caithness. Everyone will have heard of John O'Groats, it's the most northerly point on the British mainland by main road, and the break is an area of common grazing. So there's not many fences around, and you can see the peak of the Stacks of Duncan's Bay from there as well. And so this tune was a commission from the Highland Council in the year 2000 to celebrate the millennium year. And I've got James Ross from Wick on accordion playing, and Neil Leyburn on cello, who was a classical player at the time. So this was his first exposure to traditional music, and James Ross gave the chords to Neil, because that's not my specialism at all. I'm just melody and then hope that everyone else can join in. So all of us are from Caithness.
Well, we noticed that the first track and this track as well, you've mentioned the word commission. You've been commissioned to write. So do you take on commissions quite freely to write stuff for people?
Well, I'm willing to. Yeah, happy to. Yeah. And it's nice. It's quite inspirational to have something specific in mind to write for. So I have done it a few times.
Well, there you go, folks. There's Carden's website. Get in touch with her if you want a tune written. Why not? That would be great. It's a great present. It's totally unique to get something like that, and it's for any occasion really. So here we go. Let's go with the break. That's a lovely piece, Karen.
Thank you.
Go on, then. You're wanting to tell them something.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, well, I actually originally recorded that tune on a CD after the Highland Council Commission with a few other pieces, and that was with James Ross and Neil Leybourne on accordion and cello. But this piece here I recorded just last year with my friend Chris Bell, who stays down about Glasgow way, and I met Chris at the Gaelic College on Skye at Solmorostig a few years back, and we've stayed in touch over the years, and he's talented and doing split screen video, so I would record a tune and send it down and he would spend a bit of time. So yeah, a beautiful accompaniment. I look like I don't have many changes of clothes either, because in those two recordings I've got the same top on and they were recorded about a year apart.
You should don't worry about it. I done 150 days in a row one time. It's pretty difficult to be different.
Oh, I didn't wear it tonight because I've put on the COVID kilos. I can't fit into that top anymore.
haven't we all?
Got Manny's t-shirt on tonight.
When Martin Donohoe was in the show, he said he set his computer Zoom next to the fridge so he could just have a snack every so often. People, it's not a good idea. It's
one of the dangers of working from home, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm seeing all the comments. Thanks a million, people. Yeah, everyone, thanks a lot. And Northwest Scottish Fiddlers from Seattle. Yeah, it's nice to see them online. And Ailey and Mark, all of you, thanks a million for your feedback.
Lots and lots coming on. Loads and loads of nice comments coming on. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We do try to always bring you the best guests we can find, don't we, Davey?
Yes.
We find the best guests for you. And keep talking to us, keep speaking to the guests, and keep sharing. And that's fantastic. And if you want to know anything at all, let us know, and we'll try our best. See, the next track, we can build up to it a wee bit, but as you grew up through playing music, and you've mentioned Alistair quite a few times now, and Addie Harper and that, so did you kind of grow up with these guys about the same time in music as well? Then?
Yeah. Well, Alistair was over on the Wick side of the county. And Caithness isn't a big place, but
Right.
And I was on the west side. He was on the east side of the county, and so we did kind of meet later on in our teens, I think. But I used to go to Addie Harper Senior for accordion lessons. I didn't last long. He was a lovely guy, brilliant musician, but I just wasn't good at accordion, and I decided just to invest my time on fiddle. He used to teach in the caravan, and it wasn't quite candlelight, and he would use a pencil when he was writing the music, and I seem to remember I really struggled to see, and I was cheating. I think my ear was taking over, so I wasn't really always reading the music, and yeah, it was just too much of a challenge for me. So
I've just learned something. I didn't actually realise that Addie Senior played accordion, so there you go. That's something.
Well, he was brilliant leading the Wick Fiddlers. He was very disciplined, organised. Addie and Isabel was great. We would have lots of practices in their living room, and we'd do a few gigs. Yes, I did that growing up.
Did you ever get involved with dance bands and things as well then yourself? Did you ever end up with dance bands? Or?
Not really. My dad was self-taught on the piano keyed accordion. And he got us a little gig in a club in Wick a few times. For about a year, I think we used to go on weekends and play. And he was a bit naughty because when I was really struggling. Like I said, it took me a long time to play, so it helped to build up my confidence. And he would start off a tune, and I'd be like, oh, I think I know that one. And I'd start to play, and I was like, oh, I'm not really sure if I do. And then he would stop playing the melody but continue vamping, which really exposed me when I hardly knew the tunes. So that and the anxiety, my mind would go blank. I think he took some enjoyment out of that. But my mum and dad had a guest house in John O'Groats, and it was almost my dad's wish to have a bar. So he put on a lounge bar, and we used to do entertainment for the tourists. So we would play together in there, but I didn't really play in a Scottish dance band.
No.
Alistair and I used to meet quite regularly when I was living in John O'Groats. But then when I left school and I was exposed to the Cape Breton style, it was quite different to the Scottish dance band. And so musically we kind of went sort of separate ways, but there's room for both. I do like it both. I wish that I'd played a bit more of it because it's a good discipline.
Yeah, because interestingly, the next track we're going to hear is you playing with Bobby Coggle, and Bobby was also pipe major of the Wick Royal British Legion pipe band as well. But this is Bobby playing the box on this one. Was this off a television show or something? What was this one?
What was this? Oh, this was Gibson Ross. He
yeah.
put out Caithness Connections video. I don't think it was DVD.
Oh,
it was way
yes,
back.
okay,
It was
okay.
VHS video, like a number of years ago. So just in the last couple of years, he's been reposting some of the material from the videos online. So that's where these came from.
That was Ross Records then, was it then?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because Ross Records through the 80s, 90s was a huge success, wasn't it? 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, they've done loads. Yeah.
A lot of the Scottish music, especially the North of Scotland music, came via that label.
Yeah. So Bobby's dance band, I was playing in that, but I wouldn't say it was like a long-term sort of thing that was regular. It was a few times, and we did go out to the Western Isles, and we were guests of the Accordion Fiddle Club in Lewis one time.
Oh yeah. Well, if you can survive Lewis Accordion Club, you've done well. That's good. I've done that one as well. A couple of times.
We went into a coffee shop in Lewis when we were there, and there's a bit of a coffee culture in Scotland now, but back in the 80s there wasn't really. But this must have been sometime around like 2010, and we said, "Oh, can we get some coffees?" And they went, "Would you like black or white?" So that was the options. We were waiting for them to go away and say, "Do you want a latte or do you want a cappuccino?"
Oh yeah, that was it. Black or white. Yeah. I think I'm right in saying this is a March to Spain reel here, which is introduced, I think, on the video. So
yeah, so Lucky Campbell's March is the first one. I'm guessing that was composed by Bobby, possibly for one of our students at the Alnice College. Lucky's a great piano keyed accordionist from Bonar Bridge. And then going into Miss Lindsay Grant's Strathspey, Itchy Fingers, which is a very well-known tune, great pipey tune, and then a great session tune, the Kesh Jig to finish.
Fantastic. And Bobby was a great player. Well, he used to play the 5-row box and the 3-row box. He could play the whole lot.
Yeah, and the pipes and the fiddle.
And the pipes, yeah.
Yeah, he'd always be encouraging you to play what you didn't already play,
Yeah, fantastic. Here you go. Let's all listen to this wee selection.
Karen and Bobby are now going to team up for a fine set of tunes. Lucky Campbell's March, This Strathspey Lindsay Grant, The Real Itchy Fingers, and finally the Kesh Jig. Now I'm going along the road to Auckland to the annual Latheran Show.
Yeah, that's great. Really nice to see that again. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
And look, an agricultural show, something we haven't seen for a couple of years either. Everybody been able
I
to
know. Yeah.
go out and meet
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
see people. And see that helicopter rides thing there. Remember that was a thing that was in fashion, wasn't it? Remember in about the 80s, 90s, you used to go to things and they had helicopter rides and they'd take folk
Yeah.
up for 55 quid. But
Yeah, I did it at the Ray Gala once. £10 for 10 minutes flying over
yeah,
Ray.
that's it,
Yeah.
I think it must have changed now because you never see it. It's probably health and safety doesn't allow it anymore or something. But
Yeah.
we've done
Yeah, it's
that before.
great memories seeing Bobby. He was a
Yeah,
great
good.
person, a great friend,
Yeah,
great musician, and very encouraging as a teacher.
fab. And then composing, getting to yourself and composing. You just brought a book out not that long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, well, in 2020, I was furloughed along with a couple of hundred other people in the company I was working for at the time, and I
Right.
just thought, well, what am I going to do to fill the time? And so I thought, well, I'll put out a book of tunes. So and it took me 28 days from the idea to publishing, and I looked into how to type up tunes on the software, how to go about publishing, bought a few books from a design point of view to get some ideas for covers, contacted a few printers, and just went for it, and then got made redundant. So used my redundancy to pay for it, and quite arrogantly ordered far too many, didn't I? So I've now had to build a wardrobe to put them all in.
Well, I was in the same kind of situation. When we went into lockdowns, I had this catalogue of stuff that I had, and brought my first book out of it, and it was by chance met Davey on the internet because he was doing a book for somebody else. And I said, check out with this guy. And Davey does all the designing and everything and puts them all together. So he done my first book. And then we brought the second one out about 6 months later or something like that, I think. Or was it even as much? About that.
Wow, that was fast, yeah.
We've got another one lying just now, but I'm not going to sicken people and bring them out too many at a time, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I must start learning some of your tunes. Yeah.
So
I'm going to follow up with Scott, who's written about 220 tunes more than I have. And he's a good bit younger than me.
Scott's a factory. He's a tune factory, Scott.
Oh, I've been watching too much TV.
The next track we're going to listen to, and it's very poignant and means a lot to you. And I've been very honoured that you asked if I would do a bit in the track for you here as well. The track's called Angel Boy, and this isn't the finished product by any means that we're going to listen to and show people tonight, but we just you were wanting to highlight it a wee bit, which I totally agree with. So it's creating, it's making its way towards being a finished product, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully, it's not that long. But the video that's on it tonight is just video I put on. I think your plan is to have video of all the musicians on, isn't it? Tell us a wee bit about it. How did you come up with this idea for this one anyway?
Well, last summer, to start with, I decided I wanted to put out a new CD, not to record a new album, but I don't have any of the original CDs that I made a few years ago left, and I wanted something to offer people online mainly through workshops to give them a snapshot of my music. So what I did was I took the best of the tracks from my previous CDs plus some new material. So I was working on that this summer, and sadly my great nephew was involved in a road accident. He was a backseat passenger in his car seat, and my niece was in the accident as well, and he was on life support down in hospital in the Glasgow Sick Children's Hospital. So I put the CD on hold for a while, and then when I recovered a little, I decided to release the CD in memory of Ian. And the road accident was in Caithness, actually at Ockhamster, where Gibson Ross just mentioned that last set of tunes I played with Bobby was filmed at Ockhamster there. So the CD came out, and I've been donating funds to the Glasgow Children's Hospital charity, and they support patients and families of patients in the hospital. And Ian was on life support there for 3 days and sadly passed away. So there was a bit of press coverage about the CD coming out in aid of the hospital charity funds, and the reporter asked, would there be any follow-up, did I have any other plans? So just off the top of my head, I was saying, well, I'd like to support the charity in other ways, perhaps write a tune. So the tune, it just came to me, but it doesn't really reflect Ian's personality. He was a really bubbly, lively character, and the tune is quite soft and gentle, so it's maybe more inspired by the environment in the hospital and palliative. It's quite calm and quiet and respectful, blah blah blah. So that's
of course, he was very young, wasn't he? He was only
he was just 2 or 3 weeks away from being 3, and he spent his mum's birthday with me and my partner down in Aberdeen. So I'm really glad we had that time in Aberdeen. I took him shopping to buy a shirt for going out for dinner, and we just had a great day. And he was a real pet.
Well, for this single that's hopefully going to come out, and you're going to hopefully donate to charity with what you sell for that, and we'll keep everybody up to date when that's finished, and we'll advertise it on here.
Thanks very much. I appreciate that.
And the other thing is that, as I said earlier, I think what did you say? You're 21 to 24 musicians or something in the end now. So there's a huge amount.
That's how many we have at the moment. I mean, I've been leaning on great accordion player Rodney Mcdonald, who's not only a great accordion player, piano player, mixing musician extraordinaire, and on hindsight, I perhaps should have had a chat with Addie Harper, who's going to help with video or create the video. And Alistair to say, well, what's your thoughts? But it was just sort of, I got a bit excited and carried away and started asking people, and then started sending it over and leaning heavily on Alistair. And he hasn't said go away yet, thankfully.
I've heard a little taster of the whole lot, and it's sounding amazing. But what we're going to play tonight is a kind of scanned down version of it. There's still a number of musicians on, and I've put a wee bit of scenery on it just to kind of reflect on the tune, and this is Angel Boy. So this is just beautiful. Yeah.
Before we continue on, as folk are aware, we do this completely free of charge with our guests and things like that. If you want to, the link is there to donate to the Children's Hospital charity. We'll have that. We'll have that in the comments, so you can click on it and make it easier for you. But enjoy this. It's a fantastic tune.
Yeah, we're good.
Here's Angel Boy.
Wow, thanks very much for playing that. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's getting bigger. It's very orchestral sounding at the moment, so I can't wait for you to hear the finished piece. But thanks a million, Peter, for agreeing to be on it. There's so many. There's quite a few from Shetland on it. You know, Robbie Leask is on it. He's playing fiddle and guitar. We've got Laura Locke here. Oh, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name. She's going to be on it as well. So yeah, I've been really lucky. And Maggie Adamson, the fabulous Maggie. Yeah. So yeah, really excited.
It's always an absolute delight to be involved with projects that have meaning to people. And you can tell the initial idea of the piece of music coming from yourself is like the seed of the tree. And if that seed is full of emotion and a nice melody and playing, the tree will grow and off it goes. And that's what's happening with this track. It's really lovely.
Thanks. It's really important to have the accordion featured on it as well. So I've been playing with the Strathspey Rail Society in Aberdeen the last couple of years, and they've got quite a strong accordion contingent in the group. So yes, it was nice to balance it between fiddle and accordion.
Well, there's lots and lots of people out there just really enjoying it. One of your big things, as I said, we will advertise the whole thing when it comes out and folk can go on and buy it. And as Davey said earlier as well, this whole thing we do for Nout. So if you would like to make a donation to, which in effect is the charity that Karen is following, the Glasgow Children's Hospital charity, please do. 50 pence, a pound, who cares? It all adds up. It's magic. So thank you very much. One of your big things that you love doing is teaching.
Yeah, I think because it took me so long to learn, and I went to like loads of teachers. Mairead Nimini from Altan, she came out to California, and I went out to California 4 times to summer schools with Alistair Fraser, Jerry Holland, Buddy McMaster, just fantastic players, and they all had different teaching styles. So I like to.
Davey, Karen's worse than me for name dropping. You hear that list she just brought there, and pretty famous.
No, I mean, lucky me. I mean, Mairead is a primary teacher by profession, and she's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I had all these teaching techniques chucked at me, and because it took me so long to learn, I just thought, well, I've got all these tricks that I can use to try and help other people learn, you know, because I know how tough it was. Yeah, but I was leaning a bit more towards performing when I had a brain hemorrhage in 2005. So I've just been starting to move a bit more towards that, not instead of, but to sort of, I don't know, balance out the teaching and playing. So yeah, but yeah, mostly teaching is what I do, and writing. And
so do you have quite a lot of pupils just now then? Have you got quite a few?
No, I stopped playing for quite a long time after I had my operation. And I recently, well, just in the last 2 to 3 years, I started playing again. People would ask and I'd say, no, I don't play anymore. And then eventually I thought, right, okay, well, I will do. And because it's something I'm quite good at, then I've done bits and pieces. So, and now I'm doing bits online, and I see there's like Northwest Fiddlers, Scottish Fiddlers from Seattle. They're online tonight on the program, and I'm doing a workshop for them on the 20th of February. So that'll be a 2-hour workshop. The good thing about that one is it's very inclusive. It's open to non-members of the club. So I did one for them in September 2019, I think. No, it must have been 2020. After the book came out, and there were 53 fiddlers from all over came to that workshop. Yeah, it was really good. So I've got another one of those coming up. Yeah, so the CD was something different to offer this time.
We are awfully glad that you did take it up again. For getting a hold of the book and your CDs and that, is the best place just to go to your website?
Yeah, the website. But then recently, the music shop in Shetland have been in contact. So I've just delivered some books and CDs up to them just a few days ago.
Cool.
Yeah, so and the book and the CD, it's in shops around, you know, everywhere from Shetland, Orkney, around Scotland.
But you're quite willing to send abroad if people abroad, because there'll be a lot of people abroad here.
Yeah, I'm set up for that. Yeah.
Anyone and 10 for free. There we go. That's the fiddlers. I'm hoping to jam in. I'm hoping to jam in a couple of tracks here. If we go for it, we can. Because one you said that you liked yourself was the Halkirk Highland Games one. and that's some jigs, isn't it? Is it?
Oh yeah, it starts off with so these are all tunes that I've written again.
Yeah.
Seems to be heavy on my own compositions tonight.
No,
But,
that's fine.
Good, that's the
That's
big thing.
good. That's what we want.
the first tune is The Wild Spell. So that was written about a really bad storm. I was actually away at the time. I was over at the Valley of the Moon Fiddle School in California when that storm happened. But I came home and saw photographs of boats in John O'Groats Harbour that were completely smashed. So hopefully tonight's storm doesn't come to anything as bad as that one. And then I go into the Brigade Trams and the Stroma Swelke. So these are two reels that I wrote. And the Brigade Trams is about, an area south of Wick. I haven't actually visited there, but I must make a point of going to see it. It's where, sort of a promontory headland where there's been a couple of caves, and eventually over time with erosion, the cave has become like an open archway and the sea, and eventually might become a stack. I'm not sure. The Stroma Swelke, you might know that the Pentland Firth is quite a treacherous bit of water there, and it's quite shallow in places as well. But the Swelke is said to be a whirlpool, and at the bottom of that there's a millstone that grinds the salt for all the sea in the world. Who knows?
All right.
So there's kind of a few tunes written about the Stroma Swelke. So all my own compositions again. But any musicians that are there commenting, thanks very much for the feedback. If you would like the sheet music for Angel Boy, I'm happy to send that out to anyone. If I have your email address, get in touch.
All right, that's lovely. Imagine.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Here we
lovely
go.
tune.
Here's the Falkirk County Games.
there's some great footage there. It's good to see the Highland Games and good flow.
Yeah.
Karen,
Thanks again for all the
thank you.
comments. Thanks
Yeah,
so
there's
much, everyone.
comments
It's
galore, you know.
amazing. I was really concerned after Scott. You know, he's so blooming prolific, proficient. But
listen,
yeah, thanks a million for your appreciation.
been absolutely brilliant. It's been an absolutely fantastic show. I've thoroughly enjoyed the show tonight, and there's been a lot of new music on it as well. It's really good because it shows you that the music's alive and kicking, and it's not going into stalemate anywhere. But listen, Gavin, thank you so much. We're going to play out with a set of tunes here, but thanks so much for coming on, giving up your time on a Sunday night. And as you can see by all the comments yourself, how much people have really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. Lovely to meet you both.
And once we get the single out, the Angel Boy single, just give me a shout, and that week we'll be having it straight on as well. We'll be getting a push on it and
Thanks
keep
a
that
million.
going. Thank you so much. You take care.
Cheers.
Okay?
Right, bye
Thanks,
for
then.
now. Enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. See you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Oh, great musician, eh? Right.
Oh, yes.
This is called The Wooden Whale, and it's a set of Cairns tunes. Let's play out with that tonight, and I'll see you at the end.
Thank
That's great driving stuff, isn't it? That Kate Brittany style. Love it. Really, really good. Well, we have had two fantastic guests tonight. Mr. Scott Garden and Karen Stephen. What do you think? Just absolutely fantastic guests. There's so many comments still coming in there. I see you're clicking away.
Click. Yeah. Busy.
Right, so listen, that's us for tonight because you need to go and get a hot toddy now. And
Yep. See what happens after that.
You're in the spare room now then?
Aye. Yep.
Well, I hope you get rid of that COVID and I hope you don't get ill with it. So.
No, I hope so too. Before we go, let us announce our guest.
Nah, not let us. Let you announce because you've managed to capture this man, and this is quite a this is going to be great. Come on, tell us who we've got on next week.
We have a special show next week with a singular guest. Just one guest because he needs a whole show to himself.
Yep.
He is from Melbourne, Australia, where he still lives. He is the head of piping at the Scotch College in Melbourne. So he'll be joining us next week, Monday morning, his time.
Yeah.
He is a former world champion member of the Victoria Police Pipe Band. I think so.
Yeah.
And probably one of the most prolific composers to come out of Australia. As long as I've been playing anyway. One of the
I think
top.
so. I think definitely.
His name is Mr. Mark Saul.
Yeah. So that's who we've got, folks. We've got Mark Saul on for the show next week. Incredible. And we've seen a lot of videos and things already. There is going to be some incredible piping.
Oh, yes.
Ensemble stuff, because he was very famous for writing the
Suites. Yeah.
Suites.
He wrote the Hellbound Train.
Yeah, when Scott was talking about harmonies and things tonight, by golly, you're going to hear harmonies next week. That's for sure.
A masterclass.
It's a masterclass in bagpipe harmony.
So if you are a piper and just watch the show, like and share with your pals, because this is going to be a great show next week, and we'll see if we can get a masterclass while we're at it. Maybe Peter can learn a few things.
Yeah, like how to blow them up again. That would be a good start.
Well, to be honest with you, the way I'm feeling right now, I couldn't blow a set of pipes.
Yeah. Anyway, right, listen, that'll do us tonight. Thank you very much to Karen and Scott. And remember, and tune in next week to hear Mark Saul. It's going to be a great evening entertainment. Thank you again. Go and get your hot toddy, pal.
Yeah, I will go and enjoy that. And I'll see you through the week.
Good night, folks.
All the best.
Boom.